Here we go.
Are you ready? What?
I got something to say.
What is going on, Andrew? Man,
Hey, how we doing, man?
It's a big night. It's a big night. I'm super excited because, we do a lot of things with distilleries and breweries around the country. We're staying local tonight, which we've got a little gem right in our
Long
backyard. and I love
overdue.
that.
Ironically, we're staying local. I am in
Yeah,
beautiful,
and you're in
sunny Florida, so it's
You're always on the road. Good Lord.
But this time it's not
Ever-
work. I'm actually taking some
Still on
family
vacation?
time. So I
2 weeks?
told my wife 2 weeks. I mean, two hours is all I'm taking away from the family. I've been very good. I put the computer away. I put work away. I've actually
We didn't
really
do a
been
live
good
stream
this
last
time.
week.
We took off last week, which was nice.
It was great.
So, but we
Listen,
missed
we've
you
got
all.
44 in the
So-
chat already. A lot of people. Hello,
this is
everyone
gonna be-
new. Everybody from the Allview and Drug City local community. Thank you for joining us. We are 21090. We do all things beer, bourbon, and rock and roll. So I can't wait to bring on our guest in.
Yes,
I'm super
I'm excited tonight. And let me tell you all tonight, for those of you who don't join us regularly and are coming in, we got about 50 of you out here already. We appreciate that. We are going to be doing some giveaways. And so we have, for every $5 super chat tonight, it's going to go to some amazing giveaways. And I'm not just talking, you're going to be blown away. We're not going to give it away yet. We're going to bring up our two very special guests.
All right.
I know you're itching, Todd, but that's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so long story short, two really, really, I guess just bourbon whiskey connoisseurs from our area who are they have a knack for picks, are joining us tonight. And they've created one of the most amazing kind of series that has been put out and caught the whiskey world by fire. And so we're going to be talking a little bit about that tonight, some of the other things that they've done, but from two very cool places. One, Drug City Pharmacy, which is in and of itself like the world's coolest and smallest Walmart. And then we'll let George kind of talk about that. That place is just wicked cool.
It's got a lot more
whiskey. And then Justin from Allview out in Ellicott City, also just a fantastic store. The more he took me around his store, the more I was like, I gotta have that. I gotta have that. I better bring more. Better bring another credit card next time, because it was just amazing. So without further ado, let's bring up our two guests. Let's welcome Justin from Allview.
Look at this guy.
And let's welcome George from Drug City. Guys, awesome to have you on.
Got better looking around here. What's going on, guys?
We need to liven the place up a little bit.
What's up?
Thanks for having us on.
It's our pleasure, man. We're really excited to have you on tonight. So I know that a lot of people are excited about the Heritage Series, Todd.
Yes.
A lot of people are excited. But we're going to be doing a little bit more. We're also going to be talking a little bit about some of the things that are going on over at Drug City and Allview.
Yep.
So we're going to let you guys take over for a few seconds.
Introduce yourself.
Introduce yourself.
We may have people that don't know exactly who you guys are. Right.
Who wants to start?
Go ahead, Justin.
Justin always talks. Come on, Justin.
We'll let Justin go first.
Justin's never shy.
He's not shy. We'll let Justin go.
George is already drinking.
Tell the world about it. Gives George a chance to have another pour. We'll let Justin go first.
So my name's Justin Jarvis. I am owner of Allview Liquors in Ellicott City, Maryland. We've been around since the 60s and late 60s. My family bought into it back in 1994, 1995. And then basically that was all she wrote. And, for the last, I would say 7 years, we've been, up in our bourbon game and beer game. It kind of all started with beer, and we saw the trend with beer and basically realized that, you know what, I think the trend is going to start going towards bourbon. And that was back around 2014, 2015. And that's where we're at now. And over the course of the last 3 years, George and I have become great friends. And and we pick a lot of cool barrels, and we can't take credit for for just, all the picks, because we bring a lot of good people that we trust their palates. And we're actually headed to Nashville tomorrow to do a couple picks.
Yeah, that's exciting. We're excited to hear a little bit more about that later. And not to be outdone, George from, like I said, the world's coolest and smallest Walmart, Drug City. That place is just wicked cool. We could do a whole episode on that. But George, welcome.
Thank you. Cheers, everyone. Good to see you all and good to be here. I love the store. I always say it's a magical place. I started there back in 1996. Real quick, my mom found me the job right when I got into pharmacy school. And when I graduated, I stayed on and worked there as a pharmacist from 2000 to 2016. Really had nothing to do with the liquor department. Bought the store in 2016. And right around the same time, a lot of my friends were getting into Scotch. And I found that I really enjoyed whiskey, mostly bourbon and rye. Scotch I'm still working on. But met Justin a few years ago. And I think what makes both Justin and I unique is that we are enthusiasts. We get excited about this stuff just as much as anybody else. And it's just been a great experience.
Well, we're honored to have you guys both on, and I know there's a lot of MBS members here tonight, so welcome to you all. We hope you'll stick with us. We're in your backyard. We are from 21090. If you didn't know the backstory behind our ingenious name, we took our zip code and spelled the 10. So we're
really smart guys.
Lithcom boys. We get
really
to see the planes flying over our head every day, which we're spoiled for that.
Look at all.
But and we started as home brewers. And then started doing some work with, Heavy Seas. We did a lot of work with some of the breweries in the area. Then we started with Goose Island, and we started doing a lot of their Bourbon County Stout, which was really kind of blew us up. And then our vision was, what is making these Bourbon County or these barrel aged beers taste so good? What's imparting this flavor? And that drove. I had this bug about bourbon. And I said, Todd, I'm starting to get on this train. I don't think I can get off. And Todd was like, no, I don't know if I'm ready. And boy, he jumped right in both feet.
It's a slippery
too,
slope,
Yeah. So, and that's kind of how we got to all things beer, bourbon, and rock and roll. Well, for some of the MBS members who may not know, we are in the backyard. We figured we'd say just a little hello and thank you.
All right. So that being said, we're here to talk about and celebrate everything that is sort of this Maryland Heritage Series, guys. So again, I think a lot of people know what it is, but the funny thing is when we talk to people outside of this area on this channel, the reach of this is pretty far. I mean, people have heard about what you guys are doing, which I think is amazing. People in California wanting to try to get a part of this. So it's really interesting. Can you just, again, I want to go over the story. Take us back to when this project first started. How did it start? And what was the genesis of it? Let's hear that amazing story. And who wants to tell that?
George should start because
I'll start with the beginning.
He's the reason that,
I a mutual friend, actually a few people kept saying that I have to talk to this guy named Henry. And one customer, good friend of mine, actually messaged me and gave me his information. I called him, left a message, called him, left a message. Nothing really materialized. It'd been a few weeks and I figured I'd call him again. I was heading down to Virginia and he actually called me back and he told me he had these old rye barrels just sitting around and he wanted to know if I'd be interested. It just sounded a little too good to be true, but of course I said, yes, of course I'm interested. I'd love to check it out. Let's meet up one day. I'm in Virginia. Let's coordinate something next week. Got off the phone with him, immediately called Justin. I'm like, Justin, I just talked to this guy. He said he's got old rye barrels and they've just been sitting around and would we be interested? So a few weeks went by. Justin, how long was it? It took a while for us to actually meet up with him, right?
I would say 3 weeks to a month.
It was the same thing. I would call, he wouldn't answer. I would call. Henry's, we guess, somewhere between 80 and 85 years old. He's been in the industry forever. His family, his father was in the industry way before him. He's got some stories. He'd be a cool guy to have on one of these days.
Yeah.
And his recall is tremendous.
Wow.
So, but man, he's on the go and hard to really just tie him down and get him to do something. So eventually we met up, we went to lunch, we talked, and then he took us to his house, which is, it's essentially, he's up, what's that? It's a little up above Towson, North Baltimore.
Seminole Overlook.
Yeah, it's a castle, huge house. And this rye collection he had was just tremendous. We went through a few products. He let us try some things. And then at that point, he let us try the one of the barrels. I tried it. It was a nice sweet rye. I remember telling Justin, I thought for certain it was Seagram's, but Alberta. It's just I thought it was an Alberta rye, and I thought it could have been 14 years old. I just didn't think there's any chance it could be MGP. At this point, we still didn't believe him. A few weeks later, we finally meet him at the warehouse, and we look at the barrels. He gives us all his paperwork, and at that point, we're just out of our minds.
Yeah, I mean, as Justin laughs. So at that point, yeah, go ahead, Andy.
No, I was just going to say, and I don't think people realize just how rare this is, too.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, what an amazing find.
We had Greg Metz on 2 weeks ago, and we told him about this, and he's like, "Ooh, well, I had a hand. I'm sure I had a hand in those barrels, and I'd love to try them. So we're trying to get him some samples of this to try.
Well,
because
the funny thing is, he has a kind of a gag order on anything that he's done MGP, so he's not allowed to talk about it. It's kind of part of his deal. So if you want to dive into the back catalog of what Greg's had his hand in, you can't do it. But he knew about he's like, I had a hand in something. He's like so he's probably, I guess, I'll bet you it's absolutely amazing. I was like, well, and what these guys did with it, Greg, is just phenomenal. How they were able to give each one of its own backbone. So yeah, we were stoked for tonight. Even really Greg was impressed. Like, man, that's good. You guys are gonna have a good time. It's gonna be a good show. So we're excited.
The cool thing too, what George said, is when we went to the warehouse, we got all the transparency that we needed. So obviously in bourbon nowadays, not like it was in the old days, if you source whiskey, you didn't, that was like a no-no. You didn't want to say, hey, I created this brand and I didn't make it. And actually, even Henry, in the beginning, when I asked him, I was like, well, where is it from? And he's like, well, why do you need to know? He almost took it as like I was, not accusing him, but he almost took it as like a negative. And so we tried to explain to him, it's like, Henry, if this is what you say it is, it's only going to increase the value and get you, much better value out of it. And if we didn't have that transparency, and when I'm talking about transparency, I'm not just talking about, the label on the barrel. I'm talking about transfer of bond. I'm talking about, distillation day, entry proof. You're talking basically knowing the origin province of when the barrels originated, the day they were distilled, all the way as their life aged to when we saw them. Yeah. And, it was, I just remember when we tried the first, like George was saying, when we tried the first one, he had it in this flat shaped bottle. It said 108 proof. Did it say 14 years old?
It said 14 YR in like a gold. Stickers.
and at first, Henry had told us it was 18-year-old. Right. And again, but it was just so, it was so cool. It's so cool. When you think of different products, like you said, when you think of different products out there, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 10 years ago, yes, you could find that. But now it was, we're looking at this like, and, it was a wall of, 40 barrels of 14-year, actually pre-MGP, and it was LDI. It was it was right when Pernod Ricard sold it to CFL Financial, which then became LDI. Okay. So Seagram sold it in 2000.
Wow.
And in 2000 to 2007, it was Pernod Ricard. They kept the Seagram's Lawrenceburg Distillery name, and then they sold it to CFL Financial. That became LDI. LDI sold it to MGP in 2011. From 2011 on, Now we know it as MGPI, or now Ross and Squib. But
right.
So one of the things I got to say too is, if you get into a conversation with Justin, what I love about it is he can give you every detail, name, time, event, and it's great too because he's like an encyclopedia of knowledge. I mean, he really is. Like, if you want to learn about, I'm telling you right now, there we go. We just see right there, Justin dropping the knowledge. I mean,
there it is.
Both
he always does. So we're getting a Baltimore Spirits barrel in, and we're working on the labeling.
Ooh.
And we're talking to Eli today, and Justin's question back after everything was straightened out, he's like, "Now about the barrels, give me all the information you have, mash bill, age, everything, type of barrel. He wants to know it all."
I think that's great though, because what I like about Justin and I were talking earlier today. And lots of people do store picks now. So, for a while, people were saying, okay, we're getting burned out with the allocated stuff. Store picks are the way to go, which I agree. I think it's a great alternative because you're able to go and get something unique that you're not paying an arm and a leg for. But that doesn't mean that all store picks are created equal either. So, the knowledge between both, Justin and George, it shines through in the picks that they have. And if your palates jive, that's what's going to push you to go back to these stores to buy these Syndicate picks, or from Allview or from Drug City. And that's what we found out. It doesn't matter how much, if your palates are the same, we're just a couple of schlubs who like whiskey. But if we find some guys who know what they're doing, we want to be able to push that out and talk to people about it too. It's like, hey, our palates match. And there's some just really good juice coming out of both places. I brought as much as I could fit in my truck that I had, at least for this little trip. I brought some stuff. So I have a few, some Drug City stuff. I got some Allview stuff. I don't know what to start with.
And Sugar Kid in the chat, Justin wants to know, when Seagram's first sold the distillery, what was the phase of the moon, waning or waxing? Because we think you should know that kind of stuff.
I'm pretty sure it's a waxing gibbous.
It was there it is. Hey, first of all, everybody in the chat, cheers. 76 in the chat. That's fantastic. What's everybody drinking tonight? I'm going to go local. I'm going to finish off if I can. I found another bottle of this sitting on the shelves. The Sagamore 4-year bottle and bond in Fenwick, Delaware. I didn't think I would see this again, so I was saving this. Now I have another bottle. I'm gonna crack. And
if Brian is in the house watching, just amazing stuff going on over at Sagamore, and the best is yet to come. Now I'm staying local too, so here we go.
All right.
One of tonight's 8
giveaways.
You heard me right. Wow. 8 giveaways tonight. This is the underrated sleeper pick of the entire lot. Okay, so I was hanging out with Justin,
the underdog. And
so Justin's dropping all of his knowledge.
Yeah.
When it was my turn to chime in, all I would talk about was this old line pick. This is all I would talk. I was like, this pick, guys, this pick is amazing. So you guys have heard me talk about it a little bit on the channel before. This is the old line port finish from
Andy loves that
Syndicate
bottle.
Pick. I am madly in love with this bottle. It is, bottles. I went back and got a couple more. That after I met George and he pointed me in this direction. The next day I wrote a blog about it, put up on our Patreon. And I remember the exact line is, I hope no one else reads this because I want to go back and get the rest of the bottles that were at Drug City. I went back and got 2 more.
Nice.
And I think I called Joe and Kathy. I was like, if you guys are over at Drug City, you might pick me up a bottle of this. So I have a little stash that I've been hoarding.
And we're
giving a bottle away tonight of this.
That's one of the giveaways.
Now, don't take my word for it. I'll let Justin, I'll let you and George kind of talk about this. This is a full bottle, by the way, that we're giving away tonight. But why this is so good, even if you're not a single malt drinker, why this is so bloody good. Thank you, Dennis. That's awesome.
George?
What the old, so we picked that with, did we pick that with Bronson?
No, that was a while ago. We had a big group, and
that was the Madeira. Then we have a Madeira coming out in September.
We do.
So that's really so good too. So we're excited about that. Should be here before we know it. The port. I'm trying to think when we picked the port.
We picked that with the big group. We picked that with like Matt Casey, Chris. I think Chris David was on that.
Christopher David, who's at the Motley Crue concert tonight.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm very sure that Chris was on that pick. Who else? Oh, wasn't TW?
TW was there.
Because that was when
we picked the whiskey Maryland whiskey picks. and the Syndicate picks that
Yeah,
same.
we picked the first ever old line distilled in Maryland, aged in Maryland, bottled in Maryland. It's the first ever old line 100% Maryland born, Maryland raised, where if everybody knows, they can't they can't produce enough out of the still in Maryland. So they've always not sourced, they've contracted up in Ohio out of Middle West, which is, a great place, but they give them their recipe. So very different from sourcing. Yeah. But yeah, that pick is just
so if I'm a bourbon drinker or a rye drinker, why would I want to even bother trying a single malt from Baltimore? Somebody help me out. For the layman drinker here, why is this such a good pour?
Well, one, it's the big difference is this. The big difference, even though it's 100% malted barley, it's in new charred oak barrels. Mm-hmm. So bourbon needs to be in new charred oak barrels. A lot of times Scotch or single malts are not in new charred oak barrels. They might be in second fill barrels. They might be in, sherry cask or whatever it is. Now this one was in a new charred oak barrel for 3 years. And then it was in a port cask for 1 year. So it's got a total of 4 years of aging on it. And if my memory serves me correct, the 3 years that it aged in Maryland, because they send the distillate from Ohio, it was in a 30-gallon barrel. If I think, I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure it was a 30-gallon barrel for the 3 years, and then 1 year in the port cask. So.
Justin, what's the exact proof to the let's see if you can remember the exact proof.
JJ, sorry.
We'll dive into the encyclopedia.
Hold on. I got a question, though. I got a real question.
Port was up there. The thing about the old line picks, man, they're dangerous. They're
Andy will tell you that.
Well, they've been releasing when they're releasing their series ongoing, the Madeira finish, and then they had the sherry. They've been doing it all at 100 proof. This puppy is 123.6.
And Andy drinks it like grape juice.
Oh, it drinks like 100 proof. It drinks like 100 proof.
Yeah. It's just absolutely fantastic.
So real quick, a lot of people in the chat were talking about somebody sipping on your foolproof pick that you guys, I don't know how long you did that.
Oh, I have that at home too, Todd.
Everybody wants to know, when is the next Weller pick, guys? That's what they want to know. That's got to be hard to get.
George did a OWA pick, which I think is really cool because I am amongst the ones that I think I actually like. When I do side-by-sides, I think I enjoy OWA more so than foolproof.
Okay.
I'm not saying I like OWA more than foolproof, but overall, I think there's the majority of OWA picks that I've had seem to outweigh and go above and beyond the foolproof picks that I've had. I've had some really good foolproof picks, but it just seems like the OWA ones seem to come out really, really good. So yeah, George had done a OWA and we did a foolproof last year at some point. We went down to Kentucky. Dixon Dedman was on that pick, so that was really cool.
So real quick, I want to get back to the Maryland Heritage Series. So you guys, you procure these 40 barrels, that is. So the two questions I have for you is, I think the mad scientist in the blending was George. Am I right in that? Are you the one? I know you both kind of went through this, but George, you have that sort of pharmacy background. Take me through the process of, now you've got 40 barrels, 14-year-old MGP rye, and you want to make, 3 distinct bottles that taste different and speak to different flavor profiles. How did that process go? What was that like? And how did you come to where you got these amazing bottles? I mean, just take us through that.
He was a scientist. I was the test subject.
I love it. That's what I would be. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, we thought to ourselves, what are we going to do? And honestly, one of the first things we did, we drilled each barrel. We got a good sample of each. We weighed each barrel, because if you're going to batch, you need to know what's in the barrel. For example, if you have a barrel with 300 that's 300 pounds and another one that's 150 pounds, at the end of the day, the one is going to be 180 pounds of liquid. The other one, a lot less. They're not equal. so you're going to have to set it in proportion, add proportional amounts of volume by weight, so that we have a representative batch at the end of the day. Otherwise you can batch all you want, but then when you dump the barrels, you're going to have a completely different product. So we drilled the bottles, we weighed the bottles. We had a lot of different ideas. We had some lofty ideas. We wanted to start with 5 batches, and we thought we'd have a bunch of single barrels too. But batching is tough.
Yeah.
And what we found is we'd make some batches and we make another batch and we'd love them. And then the next batch or 2 would be absolutely horrible. These are all sister barrels. They hung out their whole lives together in the same environments, but they're wildly different. Some were sweet, some were tannic.
That's crazy.
Some were balanced, some were oaky. It was just like I said, it was just amazing.
How long was that process? How long was that process though, George, of going through each barrel and getting sort of that ironed out? Like when you got the barrels to when you actually started blending and actually coming to your final blends, how long was that process?
Probably 2 months.
2 months.
But you can't do too much. And this was a committee. We had a lot of different people help us out on this. People that we really admire their palate and respect what they have to say and aren't going to sit there and tell us everything's fantastic.
Yeah, right.
We had people that really helped, and you can only do 3 or 4 of these at a time, and then you get completely burnt out, especially with big bold ryes like this. You can't you can't get. I mean, these are short little sessions. I mean, we'd have a few a day, but you couldn't do more than 10-15 minutes at a time. Yeah. But just to give you an idea, we batch them. I'd use
there it is. There it is. There it is. The old dry. I love it.
We pull them and just
that's look at that.
That's awesome.
Andy, can we get them for us? I'd like to have some of those.
I don't think anybody's ever batched like this, but they should. It makes life
that's really
that's
cool.
Amazing. Real quick, on the
we'll get into also.
All
right, so people are asking about the giveaways. Okay, so first of all, we want to thank everybody who's donated so far. Tonight's giveaways are going to be fantastic. So first of all, big thank you to all of you. We appreciate you and rock on. Yes, we are massive 80s rock fans. If you didn't, you'll pick that all up. Really.
Else? I didn't see that. Anyway.
No, it worked over here. Okay. So hopefully it worked everywhere else. If not, oh well. But thank you. So what's tonight's giveaway is basically we're doing, like I said, we have 8. First one is a full bottle of the Old Line Port. Whoever wins it, even if you're disappointed that you didn't get some of the other ones, don't be. You really won tonight. You won big time. Okay, I'm just letting you know. The second one is, now I haven't even tried this yet, and I'm really kind of mad because I really want to try it. But I was talking to Justin today. I said, all right, well, what else are we going to do? And he goes, I got this story about this bottle I picked up and I fell in love with it. And he goes, so he tells me the backstory of how he fell in love with this bottle of Wilderness Rye. He said that is outside of the Maryland Heritage Series, maybe the best rye he's had this year. He goes, you know what? He texted me. He said, why don't I give a bottle of that away too? So someone's going to walk away with a bottle of the Maryland or the Wilderness Trail Rye that is a Syndicate pick. And you guys, George, I don't know, the way Justin talks about it, this thing is
just the one with Dixon Desmond?
Beyond good, yeah.
Even people that don't, Wilderness is polarizing. Yeah. And I love it. And it's so unique. And I feel like I can always tell when something's Wilderness. But this is one that we had people try and that are known Wilderness. They don't like Wilderness, and man, it's good.
Yeah, I can't wait to try this. So
that's coming out at you guys' place soon, right? That's going to be available at Drug City and Allview
Friday.
Yeah. A lot of things are happening Friday.
This hasn't even come out yet, and you're going to get a bottle tonight. So of the Wilderness Trail Rye, another Syndicate pick, which is absolutely fantastic. So the way this works is you throw in super chats every $5. It gets you a spin, and you can win one of the 8 prizes that are coming tonight. Okay, so what are the other prizes? So here we go. The Mount Vernon has already been released. And then we have 2 more coming up, the Sherbrook and the Sherwood.
There you go.
all three of them make up the Maryland Heritage Series. So what's happening tonight is, originally Justin said, all right, let's give away an ounce pour of the Sherbrook. I said, hey, that's great. And then he said, you know what?
Oh, look at that.
Let's give away an ounce of the Sherwood too. We're like, wow, that's fantastic. So both of them, so the Sherwood and the Sherwood, so
haven't been released yet.
So 6 people are going to get the Sherbrook
Hold
and the
on.
Sherwood, a 1 ounce sample.
Wait, but I've got at least half a bottle left of Mount Vernon. You have almost a full bottle, right? Because you just got yours.
Mm-hmm.
We have to make this a complete set.
We do have to make a complete set. So you will win now a 1 ounce pour of the Mount Vernon from Todd, not from me.
You got a bigger bottle than me, and I've already given you samples of mine.
So 6 people are going to walk away with a flight of the Maryland Heritage Series. If you can't get a hold of these, trust me, this is worth it. This is really, really cool. So tonight, yes, every $5 super chat gets you a spin. We're doing that just to try and keep the numbers easy to maintain and manage for Amy tonight, and because these are some big giveaways. You're getting, like I said, a flight of the Maryland Heritage Series. You get a bottle of the Old Line Port, and you've got the new Wilderness Rye that hasn't been released yet. Guys, really, really cool. So the way to do it is you give a super chat. You hit the super chat button.
There's like a little dollar sign
button there, dollar sign, and every $5 will get you an entry into the wheel. The top will spin at the end. So that's how it works.
Can we start drinking some Maryland Heritage? And so let's talk. What's the lineup? What order should we go, guys, in drinking these? What do you think?
I mean, I always say proof, but I think truthfully, George and I have learned that it changes, right? The one that doesn't change is basically Sherbrook. That is pretty much, it doesn't deviate too much from its overall profile. But Mount Vernon and Sherwood, as they open, get sweeter. They get, sweeter oak, a little bit less tobacco, a little bit more leather. But you can go any which way, but I would do proof. I would go by proof. So I believe it's Mount Vernon, Sherbrook, and Sherwood. I think.
And there's intentionality behind that too. I don't know if you, if everybody out there saw, we did drop the video yesterday.
Great
where
video.
Todd and I got a chance. Thank you. We got a chance to review all 3 of these pre-release, which has been great. We were very honored to do that, and they're all distinctly different and really hold up well, and kind of appeal to different drinkers, which is what I really, really like. So,
all right. So let's get into
Mount Vernon. Let's start with the Mount Vernon and say why that was released first, because I think that was very smart in the way you guys did that.
Oh, you're muted, George.
George, mute.
There you go.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear
you. So we felt the Mount Vernon was the most approachable and a good way to start and to lead into the series. Definitely had a nice sweetness, in my opinion, that would really make itself very attractive and I think to the bourbon drinkers. I just felt like it was the most approachable. When Justin and I talked about it, we debated. We put a lot of thought into which order we'd be releasing these, and we still stress it. But I do think Mount Vernon was the way to go.
I think that's smart. I really do. I think when I tried this for the first time, I thought, man, this could pass for a bourbon
that's the thing. I love how I get like maple syrup on this big time. I think when I drank this, I got sort of that burnt sugar into you mentioned too, but a lot of bourbon characteristics. And I know this is a 14-year-old rye, which is amazing. Is that because of, I guess, the blending you guys did, right? That you were going for that sort of sweeter profile, right?
We made a point to try to make a sweet batch, a really kind of a balanced batch, and a spicy batch. It didn't go exactly to plan, but I feel like we would take, like I said in the beginning, when we had all these barrels that were completely different, even though they all grew up together. We took all the sweet barrels that we felt and tried to put them all together. It didn't work as easy as that, but we found that we were able to adjust the profiles in such a way that we were able to get 3 distinct batches.
I think it was a really smart move. If I know when people start getting into whiskey, a lot of people with bourbon, they're going for sweet up front. Yeah. And rye is a very natural progression once you start, I'm starting to like a lot of those high rye bourbons. I started to like some of that sweetness. So it starts to move in that progression, which is smart. So as we go through, we're going to see these things change a little bit. But did you want to try are you guys drinking with us?
I'm doing the Mount Vernon right now. And here's the funny thing. You mentioned how it changed. When we first opened this bottle, Andy, it's probably about 3 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. I think it was sweeter at that time. And I think some of the black, rye spices is coming through here. It's not, I don't taste as much as that maple forward that I did the first time I tried this. We shot that video weeks ago. So it's crazy. As you mentioned, this bottle has sort of opened up, and it's actually, I think you're getting more than just that sweetness that you got up front when I first opened it.
I think one of the big notes in these barrels, and even in the blends, and this a good friend, Matt Casey, brought up this note, like a peppered cola. Like if you're drinking a Dr. Pepper,
there it is.
Yeah, sweet and spicy. Yep. I'm not saying it necessarily tastes necessarily like a Dr. Pepper, obviously, but you have that spicy and sweet kind of profile going on. And again, as much as George and I, we like what we like, but we have to give credit to all the people that we included and gave them samples to give us tasting notes and everything, because what I like, somebody else might not like. And there's not a right or wrong answer. It's just what we wanted to do was we didn't want to F it up. We wanted to make the best possible batches that we could, because we knew how good the whiskey was, but we also knew by blending it, we could, I think we even improved it, because there were there was 5 to 8 barrels that were tannic and oaky and just, they were still good. Don't get me wrong, but by themselves, they were not. So, it was.
I tell you what, the first time I had it, we hadn't had the Sherbrook or the Sherwood, and I keep coming back to it. I said, Andy, I don't know how it's going to get better than this, So, and how will it, taste differently? I was amazed how different each one was. That's I think the beauty of this is that you guys were able to pull that off. Just absolutely crazy. And this bottle continues to develop. So yep. I absolutely love it. Hopefully in the chat, if you guys have the Mount Vernon, what do you guys think? I know some people are talking about it, but we'd certainly, Robot Scott missed it by 10 minutes. Thanks, Scott. Well,
and kind of the cool thing too was when George said we were trying to do a sweet, a balanced and a spicy. In the very beginning, I mean, we were going into a pretty blind. Luckily, Dixon Dedman consulted with us. We would call him up and just have, just ask questions. And then we would talk to other people in the industry. And it was interesting to hear everybody's point of views. And, it's step-by-step, process. Mm-hmm. But I think ultimately, if you have a control, if you blend all the barrels together and you have that as your control batch, and whatever batches you're doing are not better than that control,
right. Yeah.
Well, then you have a base point of where you're kind of trying to go towards. And realistically, if you can't make anything better than the control, well, then you might as well just dump them all together.
Yep.
But yeah, it was just so much fun.
No, you guys, I mean, that sounds like the best 2 months ever to be playing with that.
It was so cool. We got to pretend like we're distillers, but do just the fun stuff.
Master blenders. You're Mark and Sherry Carter. You're Bill Staub at 4
Well, so we made reference to that in the video though too. If it worked out this well, and you guys are still kind of getting your feet wet in this
will this opportunity ever come again? Is the question.
This is something that could only get better for you guys.
Right?
If you need additional people to help you taste test, we're definitely available.
We can always use help for sure.
So, I mean, the question is, will this opportunity ever be afforded again? I mean, maybe not 14-year-old MTP Ryes, but do you guys plan on blending instead of just picks? I'm curious.
I think so.
Cool.
It all depends what comes our way, but it was such a fun experience. So backing up and going back to where people are probably like, oh, what? There's a warehouse full of barrels. What's up with that? We didn't get into what's going on at that place.
Mm-hmm.
He's by St. Agnes Hospital, in a big old warehouse.
Oh, okay.
And he does military contract work. So if any of you all have been in the military, he's got a product called Military Special. He's on all the bases. He is on all the bases with his military special. He's got his low rail gin, whiskey, tequila, vodka. He had told me that they go through 250 barrels of MGP a year with their whiskey blending. He's the biggest guy that nobody knows about. Wow. Because it's all military and it's all lower end. Oh, okay. So I had no idea who he was when we first met.
He buys tankers of he buys tankers of gin and neutral grain spirit from Sazerac and Diageo.
That's awesome.
And he bottles it right there. I mean, his bottling line, everything is right there. Like George said, it's really cool. But again, what he produces, nothing against it, but you're paying $15 for a half gallon, right? It's not a $200 bottle, which is why I think they wanted to kind of seek out somebody to try and figure out, we shouldn't be dumping this 14-year in a $10 half gallon.
No, right? Yeah. These were lost barrels. They got lost. They were in Indiana. They
thank God
until 2020, and then they came up, and then basically we met and we made this happen. But that being said, he's got a lot of barrels, and
that's really cool.
I think
so. He has more barrels.
What is it?
He has more barrels.
Not of the 14.
No, I mean no 14, but
still,
he's got. I mean, he's got 6-7 year MGP now, and I think the process was just as fun for them as it was for us.
And he does a lot of gin too.
Yeah.
Well, you guys should, cheap plug. You guys should start to carry this. This is the Def Leppard Animal and Rocket gin. We did a cheap plug a video on that.
Hold up, Andy. I got it right here.
Hold on, Todd. Do you have that? Can we do a cheap plug for us on this? So animal. So there's the animal, and then Todd, you got the rocket too. There we go. So we made our own cocktails. Instead of a gin and tonic, we did a rocket tonic. And then instead of a Tom Collin, after the
blenders, we are not.
We did the Phil Collin. So we made our own cocktail. So there's a cheap.
You guys don't know we are big Def Leppard and rock and roll fans. We'll talk about that in a second. Real quick, Eric won a sample of the Mount Vernon a few weeks ago. I think, Eric, you live up in the Midwest somewhere, has no access to this. He's been waiting 3 weeks to try the Mount Vernon for this stream. So, and that's what he got off of it. So that's the cool thing about the channel. We can get this out to people that normally would never even be exposed to it.
Yeah.
And there's his take on it. So
by the way, with all the Maryland folks in the house, so Joe just said the Cubs are losing now. O's are up 3-2. My brother's in Wrigley tonight. O's are going for what? Nine in a row, and to get us to 500. What the heck is going on in Birdland, ladies and gentlemen? Exciting. But I also want to say thank you to all of you who have super chatted. Yeah, and so I know that we did we do love Def Leppard around here, but my other favorite is local. So next thank you is a very local thank you to all of you because you guys are elite.
I got a quarterback option with elite sauce.
Elite sauce? That's me. I'm elite.
Anybody else miss Joe like I do?
Oh, God. Here we go. Don't get him started, guys, on that. All right. So the Mount Vernon we started off with. Absolutely love it. What should we go to next? And we'll crack that open. What should we go to next, guys?
Typically, I go Sherwood, but it could go either way. Sherwood, I think. But
Sherwood? Okay. Justin?
To give you an idea, Sherwood's coming out next. So that's what we
all right. Let's go next with Sherwood then. Let's give that plug. When will that be coming out, George and Justin?
Well, we're hoping to release it this Friday.
As long as we don't get stuck in Nashville.
All right, Andy, put that beautiful bottle up. Let's see.
You got it. Hold on, pouring it first, and then I'll put it up. Here we go.
I love how Justin's and George are like gone already. Somebody mentioned that in the chat. All right, Andy, here's you.
Yeah, that's. I don't want to drink anymore because then it gets me up. It gets me worried. We'll get another one. So look at that. Look at that beautiful. I love what you guys did too by paying homage to the old Maryland rye. So for those of you who are outside of the old line state here, honestly, Maryland and Pennsylvania, they were the kings of whiskey production pre-Prohibition before Kentucky became the whiskey capital of the United States. And
Cheers,
if you go back and you can look at our video, you can also go to the Maryland Heritage website. They have all these old labels they're just really cool of all the whiskey production that was happening here in Maryland. I was under the impression, and I was wrong, but that Maryland rye was much more corn forward than the Monongahela style that was in Pennsylvania. Actually, there was a lot of rye in the Maryland style too, but just really neat that you guys are paying homage to that. So it's not necessarily in the mash bill, but in the way that you guys produce this. I think it's just really, really cool.
All right.
These
So
bottles
Friday
which is cool.
morning at Drug City, there'll be a line starting. There'll probably be somebody tailgating.
They'll probably have music and food at Allview.
Not at Drug City.
They have a speakeasy where you can go.
They can go in. There's tailgating at Allview, and there's a speakeasy at Drug City. I love it. So for somebody like me who's going to be in Ocean City on Friday, I guess Sealbacks will also have a limited amount that gets released at a certain point on Friday as well, right?
Probably 1 o'clock, and just make sure you have a good connection.
Yeah, there you go. So Sealbacks will have a limited number as well on there. They may say a big number. That's not the amount that they have going. Just be aware of that. So if you want the best bet.
Something happened last time where the number I heard showed they had 1,100 bottles or something. I heard.
Wow.
It was something weird.
Yeah, that's what I think he put up. Yeah, that was up there, and of course it wasn't 11.
It was minus 1,000.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah. So Friday, this comes up, guys. What do you now the Sherwood? What were we going for when we were blending that? I mean, oh my gosh. So this is the one. Go ahead, Justin.
So the Sherwood was, if Mount Vernon was, if you can call that the sweeter one, Sherwood was supposed to be that spicier, just kind of full-bodied rye, and then Sherbrook was going to be that kind of very just good, solid overall. But Sherwood, it amazes me how much, if we took a tally for everyone what people like, I would honestly say that Sherbrook is probably 40%, and Mount Vernon and Sherwood are 30%.
Perfect.
Yeah. I mean, it's like it really is. George and I talk about it all the time because we were trying to we were trying to get 3 blends that were different. If why do 3 blends that were the same? That makes no sense. So it really amazes me. And that I love that too. I love the fact that, because obviously everybody's like, oh, which one's a favorite? Which one do you like the best? And I really, truly think that you need to try them. And I'm just going to give a quick shout out. The places that you can go. And if you don't win a sample set tonight, the places that you can go and try them. Number 1 is the Fountain at Drug City.
Awesome
Obviously,
place.
A ridiculous place. The best prices, great food. So the Fountain at Drug City, Cured in 18th and 21st, which is by me in Columbia. Great place and really good food. They're by Meriwether. The other place would be Barflies in Baltimore. Everybody, if you're into whiskey, you probably know Barflies. And then kind of a hidden gem, which I think they have the best sushi in the state of Maryland, is Jailbreak Brewing. They have dry aged fish.
I would have never
really.
Justin at Jailbreak, they're doing really cool things. He has the whole set there. So those are the 4 places in Maryland. In DC, if you're in DC, Jack Rose, obviously, Bill has been great, and he was the first place to actually have the set. And then Cinder, Matt Krim at Cinder Barbecue is been awesome also, and he has them down there. And again, it's in DC, a little bit more expensive, but 2 great places that if you're around there, man, it's George and I had fun going down there, and really cool.
Oh, great barbecue. If you guys haven't been to Cinder, you guys should go. And Jailbreak is a no-brainer. I mean, their food and
had their beer
right in your backyard. You guys
had their beer a lot. Awesome.
We love it.
There you go. Oreo, it will be available I think you're in Texas. I don't know if Sealbacks distributes to Texas. I don't think they do. I'm not sure though. Do they?
I thought they shipped everywhere. No.
Nah, it's not everywhere.
They are not. 25 states or something like that.
Yeah, it's like half the country. Like they're not
pretty
North
big,
Carolina for some reason, or Tennessee. So we'll see. Check Sealbacks. That's your best option, or win a sample.
So Christopher David and another one, John,
David, right?
are at the Motley Crue Def Leppard show. Like, Def Leppard's on now. Yeah, let's add him real quick and see if you can hear this. Let's see.
Oh God.
Let's see here.
Oh, that's Hershey.
That's Armageddon and Hershey. Look at this.
Look at that.
Oh, they're singing. I wish they weren't singing.
They're singing. I'm not singing.
Def Leppard sounds good. I don't know about John. That's not bad.
They're way back, Andy. We had much better
We
songs.
had much better.
All right, there you go. Live from Hershey, PA. There's Def Leppard with Armageddon. You never know what you're going to get on this channel.
I love that.
That's funny.
That's awesome.
funny.
That's so awesome. So
hope
you're having fun, Christopher David. That's great. John, hope you're having a good time out there.
That's awesome.
We saw them in DC. Man, that was fun. That was a good time.
All right, so let's get back to the Sherwood. To me, this was the one again, like you mentioned, most like a rye. Oh God, you smell it right away. You know it. I love the minty sort of. You get the baking spices. Oh, the nose on this I could just smell all day. Now, Justin, you said this also has opened up as well as it developed in the bottle after you open it, correct?
So the big thing here, if Mount Vernon got sweeter, I just think this drink's hot as soon as you open it. Right. I really do, and I think George can kind of talk to this a little bit. I think when we were blending,
it's beautiful now.
That was our one thing. We were 100% sold on Sherbrook. That was a home run. Mount Vernon. Also, we loved it. Sherwood, we just thought had a little bit too much heat. But then we realized that when we tried it, a couple of days later or a week later, that, man, this really seems to open up. And you just get that big kind of you get that leather, you get that tobacco, but you get that full-blown rye spice, long finish. And actually, on this too. I would say that this one probably surprises me the most because I think a lot of people, I know a lot of close friends that this is their favorite. This really is.
I think it's delicious, and I think it's a great way to counterbalance the Mount Vernon because they're so different.
Yeah, it's a completely different whiskey.
You do feel what I like about the Sherbrook is it's that beautiful combination. We'll get to that kind of the two of them in between. But this just feels like that rye. For rye drinkers, you will just absolutely fall in love with this head over heels.
That's Christopher Cleveland's favorite. Yeah, there you go. So
I agree with that. I've always told Justin I really feel like the Sherwood is the rye drinkers' rye. The big rye guys and girls that I know that have tried it really gravitate towards the Sherwood.
Absolutely.
But I really wish we could have put a warning sticker on there to open it. And don't drink for 3 days. You gotta, but you can't. There's no way you can do that. You have to have a pour,
absolutely not.
But you have to be aware that it's gonna. You got to give it some time to breathe, and it's a real thing. Right. It changes. It's insane.
It really does. It makes a difference.
It reminds me of a Scotch that not the taste.
Okay.
But we just did a Glenallachie pick, and I thought that was hot when we first opened it, and. It just depends. It doesn't. Again, it doesn't. I'm not saying it tastes anything like a Scotch, but the heat just seems like it really just needs that 1 to 2 days of it being open, a little bit of air, and man, it just seems like it just does. Everything kind of comes together.
It does wonders.
Yeah, it's
What about on the other end when you guys are doing your picks and you go out to Kentucky or wherever and you do your picks, and then you have sometimes 3 months, 4 months, even longer before you actually get the bottles, right? So that whiskey then stays in the barrel after you pick it.
Sometimes.
What's that?
Sometimes. So interesting enough, there are, let's just take Bullet. So when you go down to do a Bullet pick, they are already bottled when you pick it, which is really interesting. So they're giving you a bottle without a label. The whole it's not even in a barrel anymore. They've already bottled it. And their whole thing is, this is what you're getting. This is what it's going to taste like. Okay. So let's just say it did change in 3 months. Let's just say something happened. Well, there's stores I've heard out there that have said, this has changed. This isn't what I picked. I don't want it. Where in Bullet's case, Diageo's case, you can't say that, right? You know, this is what you picked. This is in the bottle. Here
I actually kind of like that. That's kind of cool that they do that. That's cool.
And I'll say
that's not the norm, though, is it, Justin?
No, definitely not the norm. What's happening now is some of the smaller guys, like a Nashville Barrel Company, shoot, Nashville bottles it sometimes the day that you're there. And you can, if you're local, you can leave with it.
That's amazing.
But I think you're right. It's not the norm. Definitely not the norm, but you're seeing it more often.
It's neat, though.
How often does that change the profile when you pick it? Because I've done other picks where I've heard somebody say, when they picked it, they thought this was more like an E.H. Taylor, and it took 6 months to get it. And in that 6 months, it turned into like a Stag Junior. Not that it's a bad thing, but the whiskey completely changed from when they picked it. Does that happen a lot for you guys or no? No,
I can't think of many picks that we've had that once it's come in and we've tried it, I've been disappointed. If anything, maybe it improves.
Yeah. Okay.
And I keep that in my mind sometimes. I'm like, oh, it's going to be 6 to 8 months. It just it maybe just enough to get rid of whatever concerns I had. I think sometimes that time, and if you guys probably realize it now, these picks take forever to come in half the times. The ones that are not pre-bottled, right. It can be 6 to 8 months. So you're right. Something it is changing. That'd be an interesting exercise to hold some of the sample from, from when you did the pick.
There you go.
Look at the product in.
Yeah. So the price point on the Sherwood that's coming Friday is I don't want to get this wrong. What's the price going to be, guys? For you guys, just so people
are knowing.
$225,
and Seal Box is going to be $250 or $250.
But they don't charge tax, right? So that's the thing with Seal Box. At least I don't get charged tax when I buy from them. Andy, do you?
No.
So that's the thing right there. I
think if you're a Bourbon Pro, you also don't
pay shipping.
If
you're a part of their club.
So now, look, I will say this. I understand that some people out there say, "Well, hey, the price tag's a little steep." There's a couple things I want. Look, I want to say this too up front. There's a couple things. Look, if you are a whiskey fan, you're getting ridiculously good juice.
Paid $190 for a 9-year MGP rye, which is an amazing bottle. But
the other thing is, you're getting not just that, you're getting a backstory.
Yeah.
You're getting there's so much more to it. You're getting a talking piece. You're getting a little bit of Maryland history. You're getting the label that speaks to like the way Maryland Russ was. It's
drink
just,
it, don't flip it. Drink it.
There's so much. Well, flippers can. I have a whole different story for them. But I mean, this, it's worth it. Look, I mean,
but can I buy two? I don't know. That's up to these guys.
Pop them, don't watch them.
Pop them, don't watch them.
Really, really good. I mean, these things. We don't always recommend really expensive bottles. We're being honest, okay? Because we understand people work hard for their money. This, I will say, is worth it, and it's not just because we have Justin and George on. Justin and I talked today. He goes, guys, if you don't like one of our picks, tell us. We're like, we will.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we love these, which is why like Todd wasn't until he sold all the old line port. I fell in love with it. I was like, my God, this is the greatest thing in the world.
It's not I don't love single malts, but that's just me. I know
we talked about it. Not every pick is for everybody. I never ever. I think some people do feel, especially if they're regular, they feel obligated to buy every pick, and not every pick is for everybody. Some people don't like ryes. I don't want you to buy a rye if you don't like a rye. And the best thing is we always have them open. I mean, George obviously has a little bit more, room and ability to do more tastings and stuff like that. But we always have our picks open.
That's right. None of us here need to be convinced to purchase. That's true.
And no, I'm not saying that. There are people who are not from the Maryland area who might be saying, really, that's a steep price. Well, I'm just saying it's worth it. And everybody, look, like I said, everybody's got different palates, different tastes. Like we talked about the old line. Todd's it wasn't his thing. I absolutely fell in love with it. You go to Drug City, some people love, their milkshakes at the fountain. Todd is a big milkshake fan too. I'll prove it.
Because my milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. They're like, it's better than yours, damn right. It's better than yours.
Oh, don't worry, guys. We have more.
Oh, God. Real quick, there is people that, guys, I don't want to put you on the spot, but it's coming up. I'm sure you're asking, why is the increase in price from the Mount Vernon to Sherwood? You guys can tell us that. I mean, I'm sure it might be limited quantities. You tell us.
We debated the price. So we invested a lot. We did not get these barrels for cheap. And there was a lot that went into this besides just buying the juice. We had attorneys, and we actually bought the corks and the labels and so much that went into it. So the 200 for us, and it was crazy because I'm a value guy. It was tough. But we our intention was always to increase it, to get it out, hopefully 200, let people realize what they have, how special it is,
Smart.
how good it is, and then increase it so that we can actually get a decent return.
Yeah.
I saw there's a question in here why seal box is more expensive. We debated even using seal box because we could sell them all day, but we wanted to be able to get them out to
I love that.
to the other people. But at the same time, he's got to make a profit too. So it is a balance. So we sold them to him less than we're selling them to you all, but not much less.
Right.
But again, he's got to make some money too, and he's a great guy. He really is. We've
done,
met so many good people on this journey.
Yeah, Blake's done a great job, and I think ultimately, like George said, I mean, when you look at the market and you look to see one, there is no 14-year rye, right? So there's nothing you can compare it to. But when you look at something like a National Barrel Company 9-year or something like that.
I paid $199 for that.
You're paying $200
9-year.
for that.
Yeah.
And ultimately, listen, we're going there tomorrow. Mike Hines, owner of National Barrel Company, does a great job, right? He knows as much as anybody. These barrels are not cheap. But again, we think, we wanted it to be a fair price. We know it's expensive, but let me tell you, there is probably 95 to 99% of the market. If they would have gotten these barrels, they probably would have been $300 to $400 a bottle minimum.
At least.
You should have seen Greg Metz's eyes when we told him that you guys had 14-year-old MGP rye juice. He was like, he did a double take, didn't he? He was like, we said this off camera because we knew he couldn't really talk about it. And he's like, wow. I had a hand in that.
The nonsense. So look, okay, so we've had, this is the other thing, we've had Mark and Sherry are great people. We've had them on the Carters before.
George with the bottle kill. There you go, George with the bottle kill.
You can go around the Mid-Atlantic for where they have a very limited number of their bottles that are released, and you'll see a $125 bottle for $400, $350, and it's crazy, and people will pay it, whether or not they're flipping. They're like, yeah, I got to have it. This is a good deal because I'll tell you right now, this rivals and beats like a lot of the stuff I've had from all kinds of big names. And again, this is not just because you guys are on. This is a unique opportunity that I don't think is going to come around often. So it's just really cool that we get to promote this tonight. So,
and that was the thing. We don't want to sell ourselves short. It's it really, we did put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. There was a time there where me and Justin were at the warehouse every day for probably 2 or 3 months.
Sure.
I got homesick when it ended.
Oh my God! Yes, it was when it was done.
You go back.
we still stop by, but it was we got so used to going there. We were kind of sad that it was done.
I want to ask you guys this. It's kind of away from the Maryland Heritage Series, but the syndicate you guys have created. Like, how did that happen? 2 distinct stores coming together to do that. How long have you been doing this? And then you bring in sometimes other local stores that do picks. I know Fishballs sometimes is with you guys. So how does that work? How did that come? Your collaboration come together? I mean, you're separate entities, but yet you do so many things together. How does that work? It's sort of like me and Andy. Andy, how are we together? It's like, how does that work?
No idea.
I don't know.
None at all.
Beyond us. No.
Yeah, there you go. Just curious.
I think the way I explain it is with pharmacy, we're all in this together.
Mm-hmm.
So there could be a pharmacy down the street that needs a bottle of something. They'll send their driver. I'll give them the bottle, and they'll take it. And when they get it in, they'll bring it back.
Mm-hmm.
We work together. So back in 2016, when I took over the store and I was trying to figure out liquors, I kind of felt like liquors was the same thing, So I tried to start reaching out to liquor stores, and it just wasn't like that. At least to the stores I tried to reach out to. It was tough. So when Justin and I had met a few years ago, we hit it off, and geographically we were in different spots too.
Yep.
But it was so cool to have somebody. When you get a barrel, you don't always want 240 Finger Lakes, weeded 5-year bourbon. You can only have, even though you love it, you're like, is this going to sell? Am I going to be able to sell enough of this? When you have a few stores, you kind of get like, you spread it out a bit. So, and I think it's fun. We all have the same customers. Everybody that shops at Allview shops at Drug City for the most part, and shops at Sawbulls or Fish Paws. So it's so nice to have this kind of community feel.
Yeah.
And
I think it's a Maryland thing. I really do. I'm not going to lie to you. Maryland, we get a bad rap sometimes, especially Baltimore. But let's be honest. There is Maryland has this ethnocentric piece to it, which is nice and kind of communal feel to it. And there's really two kinds of stores here because
Justin's going on to something else. He's got the Nashville Barrel. Is that what it is? Oh, gotcha. There it is. Nashville Barrel.
There's a Nashville
He's
Barrel.
doing a little market research for tomorrow. That's what he's doing right there.
Getting ready.
Yeah, getting ready.
But you think about it. I mean, of places to get store picks, Maryland is kind of the best place in the Mid-Atlantic region to get really good store picks anyway. Justin, you and I talked about this too when we were hanging out at Allview. Like this, people will travel from Jersey, from Delaware, from Virginia, from Ohio. They come because they realize this is one of the best places. So, okay, I want to mention this too. So for those of you who are out of state, okay, if you win tonight, we'll spin Todd's wheel soon.
Yes.
We'll send out the bottles and the samples. We'll all be taking care. You guys will get it. For those of you who are within striking distance geographically,
if you win
tonight, Justin said, come and pick it up either personally from him or from George, and get to know the store. Meet them. Go talk to them. Hang out for a second. Let them give you like kind of a tour of the store. That's the best way to experience this, honestly. Anyway, so if you're close enough to get to Maryland or in Maryland and you win tonight. We're not going to send it out to you. We want you guys to go pick it up from Drug City or Allview. I think it makes the experience that much better. There's really two kinds of stores around here. You have places like Drug City and Allview where people know their stuff. They talk about it. It's communal. It's a cool place to be. They're not jacking up prices ridiculously. And then there's places where you'll find Russell's 13 for $850 on the shelf, and they're like, somebody will buy it. It's not going to be you, and they kick you out of the store. I don't go there. So these are some really good places to be. So if you win in your local, go visit. That's a really also cool perk of tonight too. So just thought I would say that to those of you who are still thinking about doing a super chat to get in on tonight's prizes, which by the way, Old Line Port, a full bottle, Wilderness Trail, not released yet. And then 6 people will get a flight of the Maryland Heritage Series.
There you go.
That's awesome.
All right. So I'm going to start loading in and let's get to the last one, Andy, as I load in some of the super chats and, we'll give away all these.
Oh, here it is.
The Sherbrook, Andy. And this was when we did this, all three.
Okay, I'm going to.
You said you weren't picking a favorite. I picked this as my
spotlight
favorite
on here on this one. Todd did. So look at. First of all, I love the art on this. It's just so old school. It's really, really cool. All right, when we did this on the video, we talked about how the Mount Vernon was your foray into rye whiskey, like bourbon drinkers, you're gonna love it. We talked about how the Sherwood was your rye lovers drink. If you took them both, meshed them together, and asked for what the perfect bourbon was, this might just be, perfect rye was. This might just be it, right?
Right.
So this is a combination. Really, it feels like a little like a piece of Mount Vernon got together with a piece of Sherwood, and this beautiful production was born. I could be wrong. You guys tell me what you think, but we felt like this was a nice in between. Really, just beautiful example of the Maryland Heritage Series, fitting to be released last, we thought, in our book, but I'll let you guys talk about that. Thank you, KG.
Yeah, I don't know where the Night Rider kits. I hear that too about Scott. I hope it's not me.
It's me. It's me. I'm not even paying attention.
I love it though. I love Night Rider. It does sound like Night Rider. Is that what it is? Isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
I love that.
Where would you like to go today, Michael?
No, I agree with that. I think the Sherbrook is really the balance between the two. It's just I get a lot of tobacco and leather, but it's just balanced. And
I got chocolate too on this one. It's my palate. I pick up chocolate notes.
Yeah, it's great. It's if I had to pick one, Sherbrook is it for me. It's such an easy drinker. What Justin said is true as well. It's the one that you really just doesn't change. You pop it open and it drinks the same. It's odd how that happens. Whereas the Sherwood, you got to give it a few days.
Mm-hmm. It's really cool because I feel like you're like, you know what, tonight I'm looking for something a little bit sweet and just a little spicy on it. You're like, you pull the Mount Vernon, and then there's other nights like, just give me that rye bomb. Like I think about it. So cheap plug number 2. Hold on. Oops, hold on. Come on.
All right, guys. So while Andy's getting that,
sorry. This is phenomenal. So there is I have been a fan of this forever. I just love Hugh's Bella Bedford. I think it's fantastic stuff. And when Justin's like, "Oh, Andy, you didn't see this pickle here." Damn it, Justin, you know I'm gonna buy it, right? He goes, "Yeah." So he's a good salesman too. I tried it. And
We've all been there, Andy.
God, this is good. This is a rye drinker's rye, though, right? This is like you.
Is that a
you
10-year,
want,
Andy?
You want to drink a rye.
What
This
is
is the 9-year. But you want It's like you want a rye, a good rye, grab it. Well, this Sherwood pulled me right in. This taste. It's got that reminiscent of that.
The Sherbrook or Sherwood?
The Sherwood is that
Sherwood,
like that.
okay.
It's like a beautiful rye.
Okay.
Just like for rye drinkers. So you have both sides of whatever you're in the mood for. And if you just want something where you're like, you know what, I'm just kind of in the mood for something in the middle. That's just going to get the best of both worlds. That is where the Sherbrook comes into
Brad
play.
loves it too, Andy. Brad loves that. Brad loves it.
How good is that? I saw on the shelf. I was like, you got to be kidding me. Really? You got a Hughes too? I was like, so. Yeah, all right. I don't tell my wife that I go there.
Justin,
often.
what do you think of the Sherbrook? What are you getting from it?
So Sherbrooke, just so everybody knows, going back to the original blending and everything, Sherbrook literally was our first batch that we did, even though, not to confuse everybody, but that it's batch 3, but Sherbrook was our first batch. Sherbrook is comprised of 14 barrels, where Sherwood and Mount Vernon are comprised of 11 barrels. But to me, Sherbrook is the quintessential perfect rye. It really is. It has sweetness. It has sweet oak. It has almost, not a dusty note, but it has everything that you want. It drinks so easy, but it still has all the viscosity. It still has all the chewiness. And I think that's the big thing. I look for when you can get a barrel proof that doesn't have the proof that kind of kills your palate. When you have a barrel proof that has all that flavor, but drinks just very rich and easy. And I think that is the perfect, literally, I know we blended it, and we had help, but it is, in my opinion, it is the perfect rye. It's really, dynamite. It is the perfect rye.
It's really, really good.
And the viscosity on all these is what
it's amazing.
It's absolutely amazing. It is. I mean, every single one of them.
All three of these within a proof point of each other, and all very approachable. All drink a little bit bigger than they are because they got that beautiful, like, just it's just. I don't know.
If you blinded all three of these, there's no way you would know they were coming from the same sister barrels. I mean, that's the beauty of this, and that's what I think is so cool. You'd be like, well, I think I have a bourbon here. I've got a nice spicy rye here, and this one I'm not sure. That's the cool thing about this. You would never know it's coming from the same. To
give a little bit more info, just so everybody knows. 40 barrels. The batch is comprised 36 of the 40, right? So out of the 36 barrels, we had 11 barrels, and 14 barrels. 38 of the 40 barrels were from the same day, same run, barreled on the same day, same cooperage, aged in the same spot. There were 2 barrels, odd barrels, that were distilled. The one was distilled 1 day before, and the other one was distilled 6 days before. And those 2 odd barrels, the first thing that obviously we knew what to do was drill those barrels to make sure they weren't outliers. And they weren't. They were reminiscent of the other 38 barrels. So, you take the 40 barrel lot, we have 38, all identical basically, not in profile, but just same day run, same everything. And then you had 2 odd barrels, and those 2 odd barrels still had that same profile. They were still aged in the same rick house right by them. They were still same cooperage. Everything was still the same. It was just a different run. So if you when you talk to Greg, when you have a day's run, obviously that's when you can, and you're going to get different nuances. But again, a lot of it is going to come from the wood. And I think the viscosity that we get out of these, I think stems from the density of the wood that they're using.
It's
These
all
are
the wood. I think at the end of the day, it's just I really feel like that was what nailed it. They were all stored very similar in this. It wasn't like one was way up high, one was low. I think the wood is the variable here.
Yep.
But Justin, you mentioned 36 barrels made up the 3 batches.
Yeah.
But there's 40 barrels.
So that was my question. What are the single barrels for?
I don't know, George.
Oh, come on. Let's give the 73 in audience a little sneak peek at what we're doing with those 4 barrels. Come on, guys.
So the out of the 4 barrels that were not used for the blending, there was 4 honey barrels that we thought were the cream of the crop. And when I mean the cream of the crop, I think they're in my top 5 all-time barrels I've ever tried.
Oh my God.
And that's not just saying that because we didn't blend these. These are single barrels, right? So I'm a rye guy. So I'm a little biased in these. So here is one. The single barrels will be in a square bottle like this.
Okay.
So,
nice.
But they will also, there's 1 single barrel with Sherwood, 1 single barrel with Sherbrook, and 1 single barrel with Mount Vernon label. But in a square bottle, and what they will have is a medallion on them. And the medallion will say Maryland Heritage Single Barrel number 38, 28, and 11. And you say to yourself, there was 36, right? So there should be 4. Where there's 1 barrel that we still have not done anything with. We tanked it. So when we did the final walkthrough on the single barrels, we didn't think the 1 barrel that we still absolutely love, but we didn't think it lived up to the other 3. The 3 that we have bottled, I don't want to go on and on about it, but I can honestly say out of all the Willets I've had, out of all the Nationals I've had, out of just any ryes I've had, I truly can say they are in my top 5 all time.
Wow.
And that's 3 of them. So 3 in my top 5 all time barrels ever. And
Wow.
George, I already know George, that one of them is George's number 1. I already know that.
Well, Andy, we'll have to find out what that barrel is. And so, you mentioned how when you were blending these barrels were very different. I assume these 4 barrels also, while the honey ones are different barrel, right? There's different flavor profiles in each.
Completely different.
Completely different. Yeah.
That's amazing.
If anything, I would say the single barrels are even more different as far as not necessarily the overall like viscosity or tobacco and leather, but just the different notes that you get. They're a little bit bigger, a little bit higher proof. And again, we don't even know what we're going to do with them yet. We really don't. In fact, one of the barrels, of course, the one that I like is freaking like 60 bottles. So,
well, we have some suggestions for you if you would like to send a few over to your friends at 2TEN90. We're happy.
Samples we'll certainly take care of now.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
You guys will love these. These are freaking phenomenal. We love, but our game plan is to get through these batches first because they're just amazing. And then of course, the problem with single barrels is there's just not a lot. With Sherbrook is Justin's favorite single barrel, and of course, it's extremely short.
Yep. As Joe Graves,
the short ones,
who was local, said, "My kid's college fund is done," and so that's we all have to make sacrifices. Listen, community college, I went to it. It's all good, Joe. It's all good. Anyway.
That's funny. No, that's fantastic.
What will be the price point of the Sherbrook? That's the 3rd one. So I don't know if we were even there yet. So I don't know. We're just promoting. I don't know if you want to go there, guys, because the next one is the Sherwood.
No, I think our plan is to go up on that too. It'd probably be 250, and that's our game plan.
Hey,
so
look,
at the end of the day, it was 225 is what we sold them for. But then we do want to release box sets.
Ooh,
oh wow, cool.
So we're holding a decent amount back of all 3.
Full 7 full bottles for the box sets.
Yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Right around Christmas time, right?
Yes.
I like
there
it.
You go. I love
it. And look, if you find things like this that are rare that no one else can get, why not?
Back to Dixon. Dixon imparted a lot of good knowledge. And he's like, guys, figure out how much you want to hold back.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, you have your number. And like, I think Justin might've said 20%. I might've said 25%. He goes, now double that.
Ah,
So he's like,
that must be hard to do, though. That must have been really hard to do.
It is, but at the same time, he's been through it with his
Yeah.
Kentucky Owl.
And you gotta place some value on what you're worth sometimes. You know, it's funny. So Christopher David's a great friend of ours, and you guys know him well. He's helped with some of the picks, and he said that he goes,
That's great.
No, we even charged like $3 for Patreon. Like, who would want to even pay just to watch us? So he's like, you need more tiers than that. He's like, you guys, you're worth it. Like, put some value on yourself and the job that you're doing. Like, people want to be part of things that are special. Not that you and I are, Todd, but hey, you put stuff out there, right? I mean, so I'm glad that you guys are doing that. Because awesome. I think it is worth it. We lost George.
He'll be back.
But so
no, I think ultimately, I come back to, and people know how I feel about the secondary and stuff like that. But ultimately, this was bourbon karma, right? Let me tell you, Henry could have sold these barrels to anybody. He could have forgotten about them, and maybe they didn't ever show up. This is the fact that George was able to, basically get the ball moving on this. It's bourbon karma. And the number one thing that we did was we wanted to make sure that our community gets first crack at these bottles. That is our number one goal.
That's what's awesome.
And I'm not harping on this, but I can honestly say we talked to people in the industry, and when we told them what we were going to charge, they almost puked in the sense that we weren't charging enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like they were like, what do you mean you're going to charge?
Christopher David told me early on what the price, and I was like, well, that's fantastic because I just paid $200 for a 9-year Nashville barrel rye. So that's
well, you're doing Nashville. You're selling Nashville today the wrong way.
I love Nashville. It's great.
I know, but the thing is, people will
it's a great barrel.
People will pay for it. For anything that is good. That is good, and if it's good and obscure, even better.
You said it has a story behind it too. There's a story. It's rare. It's delicious.
Exactly.
When it's gone, right? This isn't coming back.
We bought every barrel that we could find.
Yeah.
Every barrel that we could find. And realistically, the more we talk to people, the more I talk to, whoever it is, whether it's, John Little at Smooth Ambler that George talked to, whether it's Dixon, whether it's Mike Hines at Nashville.
John said 350. Remember that?
He did. Whether it's
at the end of the day, we're not in a big rush to sell them. We love the product. We man, I'm gonna miss it when they're gone. So maybe we should triple it.
Oh no!
Well, look, we have people who have been clamoring for some stuff that when it's rare, it's rare. Like actually, I don't know if you guys have heard of some of these bottles, but a lot of our Patreons have heard of them. We'll let you know a little bit about them.
Oh, no.
Okay, what you guys are all waiting for tonight on our live stream, our members only giveaway is something very special. We are giving away our top 5 whiskeys of 2020 to a lucky winner. Those are going to be the Knob Creek 12-year Select, the Wild Turkey Rare Breed Rye, the Rare Breed Masters Tier 17, the Old Crow Double Barrel 47, and then the Maker's Mark's P90X. All absolutely amazing bourbons that you can't find easily that Andy has. One lucky member will get it. So we can't wait to see you tonight, 8:30 p.m. And we'll have some fun. Cheers. I'm at the beach. That's where the live stream will be.
That is awesome.
That was when I was still into beer, obviously. Okay, so I would read anything that Andy gave me. The story behind that is, guys, we have a giveaway that we did it, and this is 2020 December. I didn't know what I was talking about. Obviously, I sold it really well. Like I said that with conviction that Maker's Mark P90X.
He tells me, he said, Andy, what are we giving away tonight? What are we giving away tonight? I was like, Todd, I said, Berg never read anything's on a teleprompter. This is before he's into it. So I put in Wild Turkey Rare Breed Rye because I knew he liked that. But everything else I made up. Old Crow Double Barrel 47. And I was like,
never heard of it.
I said, I don't even think Todd will read Maker's Mark P90X.
I did.
Straight face. Like,
I said,
Mark P90X.
Hard to get. They are hard to get. I got it. So, they're hard to get. They were hard to get. Thank you. So, George, don't think less of me. Justin, you're laughing. That's good. All right.
So Jeff's like, hey, look, that P90X is a honey barrel from what I've heard. It is.
That is right.
Jeff, that's a tough
If we ever do a Maker's trademark pick, Andy. That's what it will be named.
Absolutely.
You have to do a sticker of
Yes.
P90X.
No doubt.
We're just going to put Todd's face on that
All right,
model's body.
Andy, we're an hour and a half into the show. I think it's time to give away all these goodies.
One more time, if you want to get in on this, let's go through them one more time. What you're getting?
Okay, Andy.
One person will win a full bottle of my favorite, and Justin George love this because it's that good. The old line full bottle American single malt whiskey port cask. It's just that good.
This is a 121.8.
I'll give you another chance.
No.
Go up a little bit.
122.4.
123.6.
There you
go.
go.
I'm telling you, that thing drinks like it's 100 proof. It's crazy. I even went to Mark and Arch and I said, I want you to
do it.
Figure this because there's no freaking way that it's this proof.
It's delicious. It's just freaking good. It's fantastic. So somebody's got a full bottle of that, and you are, like I said, you are one of the biggest winners tonight. You don't even realize it yet, but it's that good. Number 2, I haven't had it. Todd hasn't had it, but Justin and George know just how good this is. This is one of their favorite upcoming picks released on Friday. Is the Wilderness Trail Rye. That's really cool. So somebody's going to win a full bottle of that. And then 6 lucky viewers are going to win an entire flight of the Maryland Heritage Series. You're going to get the Mount Vernon, the Sherbrook, and the Sherwood, a 1 ounce sample of each. So you got an entire flight. Fantastic. So all you got to do is super chat, and
thank
you're
you, Amy. You're
Robert,
in.
So that's awesome.
Oh, Rob, I got to enter it in. All right, Robert, I will enter you in now. And then, hello, Mrs. Fotis. There we go. Or who is that? Tell somebody. All right, we're getting done soon.
I had you on mute, so we're talking. It's just, good.
Thank Miss Fotis for all the great labels.
Where are they? Can she do a P90X label? Is the question. That's the question.
See that great handwriting?
That's awesome.
That Kelly did those. I could tell by where the batch is.
Yeah, thanks to Kelly, Kat, Alex, and Charlie and George for the great handwriting.
That's so cool.
All right, all these super
Kyle,
chats.
look at all these super chats coming in. Thank you. We appreciate it. Yeah, this is I was gonna say probably this is the best giveaway we've ever done.
Yep.
On this channel. This is just a killer giveaway tonight. So again, thank you to
all
of you.
Drug City and Allview for donating a lot of this. This is fantastic. Shows you how great they are.
We definitely appreciate it. So thank you.
What you're about to see is a Channel 4 News exclusive.
That was awesome.
How about that?
So we thank you guys very much. This has been awesome. All right.
One second, Todd. Yep, 1 second. So what we'll do is we'll give away. I think we should give away the 6 Maryland Heritage Series giveaways first. I think that's the prize of the night. I know you love your old line, Andy, and rightfully so. But I think that's what the majority of the vote is for. Am I wrong with that, guys?
I would assume, yeah.
All right, so let's give those 6 away. Am I missing any more? Hold on. Let me. I gotta give. Oh, there's one more that just came in. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm sorry. We'll give this away right now. I gotta Moper Satellite 73. There we go. Let me copy that. Sorry, guys. 1 second. I'm almost there.
It's all good. But
all right, here we go. All right, Andy, I think we're good. You want to close it? I guess let's say we're done. No more super chats.
No.
Should save the best for last. You guys tell me. I don't want to I'll spin the wheel, but you decide. What are we giving away first?
What they should give away. Also.
I like the heritage pours.
Yeah,
let's go that first. We're gonna do that first, right? I feel like if you're selected first, you should win that. So
P.S. cheap plug again. This is so good, Todd. Just put on this.
Ooh,
the big char.
This is silly good.
Big char.
The big char. This is another pick from them.
Yes.
For you. This is. Do you guys have any of these left at Drug City? Or
I have some.
Oh my goodness!
George has a little bit of everything.
This guys, this is a wilderness trail like you have never ever had before.
So good,
so good.
But again,
Kyle Miller's like my favorite.
Some people just cannot take it, but when you love it, you love it.
Yeah,
oh, it's so good. And
Did
it's
you try?
never
Did
had.
you try our Rasputin pick? The old line Rasputin.
Oh, Andy.
no, I
I
haven't.
did not. I'm
Oh
sure
my
you
God.
love that. Oh, Andy, look, George is going. Look, uh-oh.
Are there more? Are there more left?
Next time you come by, you got to try it. It's
There you go, Andy.
so unique, so much fun.
Andy will be up tomorrow.
And if you like,
He's in
old
Florida, but he'll
line,
be up tomorrow.
We'll be in Nashville.
I'll wait till you get back. It's a long
Yes.
drive, and then
By
I'll
Friday.
pop in. Yeah,
The
that'd be
Sherwood
great.
release.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. No, I'd love to. That's great.
All right, there we go. So I want to thank everybody who has super chatted. We really appreciate it. Supports our channel. George and Justin, thank you for donating some of this,
Yes.
most of all of this.
And remember, if
super
you're
good.
in the Mid-Atlantic area and you want to come pick up your winnings personally from either George or Justin
Let
at
me
Allview
shuffle it a few times.
it's worth it. Really, really cool.
All right.
Both stores are just fantastic.
So we will give away 6 full 1-ounce samples of the Maryland 100 series, and then we'll go to the old line, and then we'll go to the Wilderness Trail bottle. So that's 8
All
total
right.
winners. So let's go for the first winner of the Maryland Heritage Series.
All right, let's see.
Are you guys
who
ready,
our
Andy? You got
big
it up?
winners. Go ahead, buddy.
All right, here we
you.
go.
We're gonna see how this
Come
works.
on, who's winning?
I like it.
Okay, and the winner is
Moper Satellite 73
wow,
is
just pulled that in last minute too. Congratulations.
All
All
right.
right, there we go.
Write this down, though. Hold on.
So
We got a
write
lot.
that down, Todd, and make sure you have our email as well, 21090.
Yes. Andy, put that in the chat, our 21090
Yes.
brewing at gmail.com. So we have you. I will.
Is
and
it,
that
is
way,
it, is it brewing, Todd? You can tell
21090
I know.
brewing. Yeah, it's the old brewing.
That's right. Well, that's changing soon, but yeah, there we
Yes. We got to get with Christopher. All right. So Moper Satellite 73, you are the first winner. Well done. Now, should I remove or keep him in? What do I do about that, Andy? Can he win twice? Let's say he can't win 2 of the pours twice. Is that safe, or what do we want to do about that?
go. Don't put me on the spot. You're the gourmet around here, Eddie. You do.
All right, I won't remove him because maybe he'll win the other 2. But I don't think you should win 2 of the Maryland Heritage Series. I want to try to spread them out as much.
Fair
as
enough.
possible.
But if you
Right, I'll
get the
keep
port or the wilderness, fair enough. Okay.
Correct. All right, does that work? All right. So next winner for the Maryland Heritage Series.
Okay. Winner is let's see.
Eric Desmarius. All right.
All right, there we go.
Way to
Oh,
go.
man.
Now, he won 3 weeks ago, and he had a sample of the Mount Vernon. Now he's going to try
Nice.
all of them. Well done, Eric. I have your email, so I will get that out. So
Nice.
3rd winner for the Maryland Heritage. Anybody local? I think Moper Satellite is local. Sugar Kitty.
There we go.
All right, Sugar Kitty, way to go.
Not local. We'll get yours
Not
out.
local. All right. We've
All
got
right.
3 more. Don't worry. There's 3 more, guys. There's 3 more. Let's see who wins. It's Heartside Eileen. Way to
There you go, Eileen. Come on, Eileen.
All
Good
right,
job.
Eileen. Well done, Eileen. I know you'll love that.
You
So-
gotta share that with Oreo, Eileen.
That's there you
Just
go.
saying.
All right, we've got 2 more winners here for the Maryland Heritage Series. Let's see who wins. Oh, he can't win again. I'm sorry, I have to spin it again.
Yeah, he said pull it
already
again,
won.
so pull it again.
All right, let me just spin it again. So, Moper Satellite, you already won once, but you can win a bottle though, so we'll give you that. Okay. And it's Dennis Hayden Jr. I think he might be local.
Oh, wow, yeah. Dennis,
Right.
Dennis is local. He came by today.
There you go, Dennis. Way to go. All right, so you can get with Justin or email us, whatever you want to do. All right, and the last winner for the Maryland Heritage Series flight.
There is
Amy Boehm. Amy wins.
Yeah, right, Amy.
All right, she's in North
You didn't
Carolina.
know Amy is a rock star.
Yeah, way to go, Amy. All right, so
by the way, just real quick, I just want to say, you saw the video that Todd did.
sorry,
you're-
Andy.
you
I'm
pull
going.
it
This is
again?
the winner for something.
For the what is this? This is
Old
for the
line.
old line port.
Oreo.
Oreo, there you go. Oreo, you're gonna be very pleased with that.
Old line port. And then
All
the
right.
final, Andy, is the big
The final
Wilderness
is
Trail.
the Wilderness Trail. So
Yep.
go ahead and spin that.
Are you ready? Here we go.
Yep. Go ahead.
Kathy. Definitely not Joe Graves. So Kathy
Perfect.
Graves.
All right, and we'll make sure that does not go to Joe Graves. That goes
All
to
right.
Kathy. That's
She's local.
perfect.
There you go.
So very, very cool. So there we go. So thank you to all for our big winners tonight. Amy, I did want to give her a shout out because she does a lot for us. She keeps track of the wheel all the time for us and all of our winnings. She also participated in the P90X challenge that we're running.
Oh God.
Todd did. You saw Todd's video. So we've been running a challenge where people can submit their own P90X videos. Just to give you an example, this is Amy's. You guys are free to submit. The competition is open from Memorial Day to Labor Day.
No.
All right, guys. It's 21090 here at the beach. Tuesday nights, 10 o'clock. We've got some great giveaways for you. We got a triple oaked 4-gate rye batch 151 that I picked up off Sealbacks. A Lucky 7 10-year bottled in bond, 112 proof. It's going to be awesome. They call that the milkshake. Brings all the boys to the yard. We got an Old Moose 10-year aged in a level 12 char barrel. Also, the pièce de résistance, a Maker's P90X Dusty from way back when, 2018, that I found down in Delaware. And last but not least, 2 passes to the RV Hall of Fame from Kathy and Joe Graves, the most awesome people on the planet. Cheers, everybody. Peace out. Love you.
This is the kind of, and we kicked Todd off. He got so excited he left. But this is the kind of stuff that actually we do on the. So we have a couple people who actually submitted entries into the P90X competition. So good on you, Amy. That was awesome, guys. We can't thank you. This was really awesome. I'm gonna wait for Todd to jump back on, but this has been a ton of fun. So you guys are off to Kentucky tomorrow, then? Yes, or I'm sorry, Tennessee tomorrow, right?
Dude, yep. We are. We're doing George mute. You're on mute. No?
How's that?
There you are.
Perfect.
So yeah, go ahead, Justin. You can tell them.
Oh no. So yeah, we're just going down to do Nashville Barrel Company. And that's up in the air. I mean, we're going down to do a tour. Mike's, gracious hospitality. We don't know 100% if we're going to end up picking or not, but the whole reason for the trip is for a Jack Daniel's single barrel proof.
That's awesome.
So if anybody got lucky enough to get our first one was called Gold Digger. It was a Syndicate pick, and this is the Jack Daniel's with the gold label, so it's the barrel proof, and we loved it. And then we were on the docket to do another one, but then COVID hit, so we weren't able to go down, and then they canceled the whole program because of the glass shortage.
Yep.
So we were, this is for the past basically a year and a half that we were supposed to go down. This is basically that trip. So.
Right. That's amazing.
That's cool. And just the experience of going down to Jack and seeing all that's pretty neat. I mean, it's iconic as it is, but can't wait to try
90X.
That's right. Hey, Oreo, you won the old line port finish that Andy. It's one of his favorite bottles of the year. So you want a whole bottle.
I'm telling you, Oreo, it's fantastic. But I will say this. I said this earlier in the show. We've had a lot of people on tonight. When you find people whose palates you kind of mesh with, it's great to kind of follow them. And you guys have a knack for doing this. You really do. Yeah. I think the picks you put out have been really good, and they've all been different. The old line port, I talk about that. I love it. But then the big char for Wilderness Trail, so different. And then we've got there's so many unique things that you guys are putting out for people to try. I encourage you to go out and try it and see for yourself. You may not like all of it, but it's really, really good. He loves Joe. Look at him. He's laughing at him. Married to a good. Kathy's the best, by the way. Don't let Joe fool you.
Kathy won that, I believe. Not Joe.
She did. Local. So Kathy, I wouldn't share that. They actually, Kathy and Joe go to Drug C all the time. They love going.
They
to
love the fountain
at the fountain. Yeah.
They bring the samples home and then they drink the milkshakes. Oh man, there you go. That's awesome.
It's good stuff. Anything you guys want to talk about before we?
No, we're good. I think one quick thing that you were talking about barrel picking is it's important. Justin and I we don't keep track, but we turn down picks just as often as we pick them.
Really?
We say no quite a bit. and I think that's something that's really important. We don't pick just to pick. There's got to be a reason, and it could be something special, and we still turn it down. It's got to make sense.
We probably, if we do 25 picks a year, 30 picks a year, we probably turn down about that many. And sometimes they're just not for your palate, and then other times unfortunately they're just not good. I mean, I can, off the top of my head right now, we've turned down Stellum, Barrel, Clyde May, and this is not just they offer them and you turn them down. This is them like tasting them and turning them down.
Right.
Old Elk, Clyde May, Barrel, Stellum. Oh my God!
But that's not. It doesn't mean that you would never do. I mean, that's just you try the barrels. It happens.
No,
right?
what I'll say, I'm like, these didn't suit us. Yeah. Let's try it again.
Yeah,
But I think a lot of times, especially stores, I think it's important for stores just getting into this to know that they can say no.
Yeah.
And they can ask for more samples.
Well, and it's not a slap in the face to the distillery either, because the bottom line is, what you may not love, another person may say that is exactly what I've been looking for. So I think that's the pretentious piece of whiskey that I don't like, is people like, oh, they're no good. No, what one person doesn't love, another person may think is the greatest thing they've ever had.
Yep.
So it's got to be what you like.
Yeah.
So it's never a knock on the people who are making this, because there's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that goes into everything. It's just my palate doesn't jive with it. So it's more about finding people who you have a very similar palate with, because chances are you're going to like those picks, which is one of the things I'm like, you know what? I like the stuff that you guys are putting out. Do I like all of it? I don't know. Maybe some stuff I'm not going to like. But the thing is, I know that it's probably going to be something that I gravitate towards. That, and you get some, you have to like the people that you're buying from too. People will buy Drug City and Allview before they buy.
And it's Christopher David. He's
Christopher David just said it. Look at him, how happy he is. He's closing out the show.
There he is. Christopher's going to watch this. And in the replay, and there he is. There's a seat for tonight. Anyway, real quick, somebody to ask when the Sherbrook is tentatively scheduled to be released. I know you guys. I don't want to get ahead of you.
A month away.
There you go.
I mean, basically, we did. George, remind me.
I mean, everything is bottled. It's not like we're waiting for anything, but we just, again, we felt in the great scheme of things, we didn't want to just drop all this on everyone.
Was it June 20th? Was Mount Vernon? June
17th. Yeah.
17th. And then this one's the 15th, so just a month away. And then we'll have sets. We will release.
Oh, I can't wait for that. That's great.
But Andy, if you want a Christmas present, you can get me that for
well, we always say, remember your friends, and so we're all friends here. So we'll just when that gets ready. But no, I think that's all. And like Jeff said, the Syndicate turned down a Weller 18-year finish in ice wine barrels, but they would never turn down a Maker's P90X. That's where you're legendary already.
We have to be involved, and nobody can. You guys can't steal that name. If you steal it, we have to be involved. That's all.
Even Greg Metz was like, we got to do that. That's funny. Like, I mean, how great? How
my
funny
reputation precedes me, guys.
Have you guys done picks? Have you done anything?
We're working towards.
We're working on it. We got something with one.
Let's.
We're game.
Yeah,
we have Patreon. Yeah, we'd love to offer to our viewers.
We'd love to do that.
Yeah, we'd love to be involved. Get some.
We'd also honestly, now look, Justin, I love you to death, but honestly, George, we'd love to do a show from Drug City one day too, just to show off some of the cool stuff there too. So maybe one day, if that's something you want to do,
that'd be awesome. Upstairs, especially.
Yeah,
I think it'd be
great.
Cool.
Yeah, it's just unfair. He just has too good of a.
No, his location is something special. That's like out of a movie, man. It's like Hogwarts upstairs. Like, people don't realize how cool and different it is from everything else. It's really neat. It's like you're in a different world. So it's really kind of cool. So,
well, guys, we can't thank you enough. Good luck with everything. This Friday we'll have the 9 a.m. What's the time?
I think opening, and I think we should also say that the same thing we did last time. It's going to be a game time decision.
1 or 2.
If there's 30 or 40 people out there, we'll do two bottles per person.
Okay.
If there's for some reason 100 people out there, we want everyone to get a crack at this. So we would do one per person. I know it's people want to know ahead of time, but I think doing it that way kind of gives us a little bit of we get to make the best decision at that point in time. So I think it opened. So I opened at 8.
Okay. I opened at 9, but last time we started at 8:30.
Yep, and they had a lot of good food at Allview. They had a band, and they had. It was really nice.
Oh, there was tailgating going on Allview.
Yeah,
I saw the pictures.
They gave out free milkshakes at Drug City, and
you go to Drug City, you can get your dry cleaning done. There's a notary there. You got everything you need in this world.
George was signing bottles, personal bottles. And
look, I got to, it really is a cool place. Like, you have to go to experience it. You'll drive by it and not even realize, like, oh, that what, I don't know what that is. You go inside,
and
it's like nothing you've ever seen. It's really.
The guy sells recliners.
A recliner and a nice bottle of whiskey. There you go. And a milkshake.
If you can't find what you need at Drug City, you don't need it. You don't need it. So it's that cool. So,
guys, thank you so much.
Yeah, no, we appreciate you, everybody. We missed you last week, but we're glad we came back this week.
Real quick, I just want to reiterate that we plan on Friday. If something does happen with our flight, we will just push it back to later in the day. We will let everybody know through Facebook, Instagram, and GroupMe. But knock on wood, everything should be fine. We fly back Thursday night. I don't expect to have to push it back.
What's your flight numbers? We can track that flight.
Yeah, I was saying, if you guys are late, we will open up the stores. I'll go to Drug City. Todd will go to Allview.
Friday, but it's like, isn't it like 12:40?
We get it at midnight on Friday.
Oh no! Yeah. Oh gosh.
We'll go open up shop.
Thanks,
for you
Brian.
We'll
Good to see everybody. Hopefully, all of our new viewers will come back. We're here every Tuesday night. We're trying to do a lot of local stuff as well with Brian at Sagamore O-Line. So we're all about local and. I can't wait to see what this holds, Andy, right?
Awesome. George, Justin, thank you.
Guys,
we appreciate y'all. Cheers and rock on, guys.
Take care.
We're never getting through this.
Wasn't ready for that.
Get yourself in check here. What's wrong with you?
Fine. I also didn't have dinner.
Oh, you didn't have dinner?
There's nothing in my stomach.
Oh, my God. We drank 8 whiskeys.
I know. I felt drunk after the first beer.
Oh, my God. Jeez.
Is that center?
And a barrel of beer. I don't even know at this point, Andy. We haven't gotten to that point. Come on, dude. Let's go. Finish this. This is important. Well, maybe it's not.
Do a still look high?
You do. You do. But let's go.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Where are we starting from?
Welcome back to 2TEN90's.
Welcome back to 2TEN90's.
Yes.
I'm Andy, you're Todd.
Yes. Okay. And just go into it. Let's review FAO2.
Let's just do it.
Don't worry about 01. Say
Don't
we
worry
love
about
01. Say the difference.
I'm not worried about 01.
You're so drunk.
That was so springtime.
Fuck. We're never going to do this. We've reached our limit, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't know if this is a good idea at this point.
We got one more to do. Come on, sit.
Okay, hold on.
Come on.
I'm trying.
There's a lot.